Good morning. I made it through the night. Wasn't the most comfortable experience, I'll admit, but got through it. Stayed relatively warm. So now it's time to go get my food that I strung up last night. You can see the bear bag. I think the other clip I got cut off early for whatever reason, but this isn't the best example again, but it's high enough that a bear can't reach it, and the bear would have to figure out that it's tied to this branch here, which they might be able to. I don't know. I think that the fact that you have to tie it off to a trunk is a problem with any bear bag setup. So even though I picked kind of a weak looking branch, it doesn't, even if I had picked a stronger branch, it doesn't really change the fact that you have to tie it off at a level that you can actually reach it. And if the bear knows how to untie it, then he'll do that. For breakfast, we've got some oatmeal and some MRE coffee. It's good to have something hot when it's so cold out. There are some big trees that have fallen over here. I don't know if they were cut down or if they just fell. But you can see over here, this one definitely doesn't look like it was cut down because it broke off at the trunk there and then fell. There's a part of a tree hanging up on this tree. That's pretty interesting. I've camped at this place before, and I remember there was a huge tree that was kind of swaying, so maybe this is the one that fell. Look at this, just waste. Looks like a hurricane came through. I'm in the process of breaking down my camp, and one thing that I felt last night that I hadn't felt before while I was sleeping is some almost what felt like heavy footsteps underneath my back. I could feel it through the ground while I was sleeping, and at first I didn't know what it was. It was a little bit alarming because I was worried maybe like a bear was clomping around out here, and that was concerning because if it was close enough that I could feel it stepping, then it must be close to my tent. But it happened a few times, and you know what I actually think it is you can see here I put my tent right next to this tree right here, and I think when the wind is pushing against the tree, that it actually might, when the tree is swaying, move the roots as well. So maybe I was feeling the roots moving through the ground while I was sleeping through my tent. That's a theory. I don't know what else it could be though, because it was definitely some kind of movement that I could feel. I don't think it was like a seismic event. If it was a bear, it wasn't making any noises that I would associate with a bear, and it didn't seem to want to interact with my tent. So I'm going to go with the roots moving underneath the swaying tree theory. On a different subject, packing up the morning after the night you spend out, packing up is my least favorite part. Here you can see more of just this blasted landscape. So they must have come through here and used like a saw or a chainsaw or something and took out all this debris off of the trail from when these trees came up. So here's another one. This is pretty gnarly. Here you can see the entire root system came out of this tree over here. And so if you look at this, you can see that there's these layers of rock that are actually embedded in the root system, and they came up when the tree tipped over. So if these layers of rock are so embedded in the root system that it's actually going to carry them up several feet because they're nested in this webwork of roots when the tree tips over, then it definitely seems plausible that when the wind is making the tree sway, that maybe some of those rocks are coming up a little bit towards the surface, and we're making that sensation of having heavy footfalls near my tent because they were bumping up against me. So I didn't actually put those two things together until just now, but I'm going to go with that given what I see here. I mean, these rocks are not light, and they're kind of integrated into this tree system here. The beginning of the second day is a good feeling because, you know, at the end of it, you get to go back to your car where you can turn on the heater, and then you get to go home and eat some non-hiking food and take a nice shower, put on some clean clothes. It also feels good when you break down your camp and you have all of your gear squared away and on your back, and you're ready to get underway and finish up the journey. Be really careful with these because they're covered with ice, and I'm also not using my poles because I want to be able to show you just how awesome this looks. Getting near to the end now. I just have to reach the peak of this next mountain before Unicoi Gap, where I can get back to the trailhead. It's been really amazing so far. My water bottle froze up on me. I think it might be leaking, or it's not closing because of the ice in it or something, so that wasn't great, but I think I have enough water in my system to get through the rest of this. I'm gonna have to go home and kind of do a post-mortem on my water equipment and see how it held up with all of this frozen water in it and whatnot. So about this time, I'm definitely ready to get back to my car, sit down, enjoy some heat and air conditioning. As enjoyable as it is, when you're on that last 2 miles, you start to feel it and start to feel the possibility of getting back home. the scale and the incline comes across, but if you go up a mountain, you have to come back down the mountain. So usually on the AT in North Georgia, if you start at a trailhead, you're going to be going up a mountain to start, and then when you come back to where you parked your car, you're going to be going down that mountain. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm not taking as much video because it's a little harder to navigate. You have to be very sure of your footing. Look at this. This is completely covered with ice. So you need to watch where you're planting each foot. Use your trekking poles and try not to fall. So not going to be a lot of video using the selfie stick because I want to get down safely. But I wanted to give you an idea of what happens at this part. Well, folks, we're back here at the Honda Fit. We made our descent without incident, and man, this was quite a trip. Really legendary for my own series of adventures. The snow, the terrain, just the look of everything, and the fact that I'm going to be able to put this experience on YouTube is the cherry on top. So I'll see you folks on the other side. You better fucking put your shit back on. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Are you telling me I didn't even record that shit? Oh man, no way.